smash or dash, and these are tempura oyster mushrooms. Tempura batter oyster mushrooms, guys. These right here, I'm telling you, you don't miss chicken when you got this. Stay tuned, guys. And then you dip it in. I just got me some hot chili sauce mixed with sweet chili sauce. Yeah, stay tuned. Okay, so we start off with some oyster mushrooms. Now, these oyster mushrooms are bought from the store, and basically I'm gonna leave them out to air dry, and then I'll add tissue on it just to further dry it out. So you can leave that for 15-20 minutes, doesn't matter. Now we're gonna add 1 cup of self-raising flour. Now for the guys in America, you can just use all-purpose flour, and then you will have to put in 1 teaspoon of baking soda or bicarbonate soda. So that's 1 cup of self-raising flour, and now I'm going to put 1 cup of corn flour. That's 1 cup of corn flour going in. Now we give that a thorough mix. Now I'm going to put in 1 teaspoon of Himalayan salt. So that's, I'm using a tablespoon, but it's actually 1 teaspoon, so it's just a little bit under half. There you go, that goes in. And then we're gonna add 1 teaspoon, give that a mix through first. And then we're gonna add 1 teaspoon of black pepper also, once I've mixed this through. So that's 1 teaspoon of white pepper going in. And we give that a nice thorough stir through to stir through the white pepper that we just added. Let's give that a nice mix through. Now we're going to lightly coat each of these oyster mushrooms. So just get them in some flour. Just coat them with flour. And then we're going to dip those coated mushrooms into the tempura batter after. And this is what they look like coated. So it's literally just to coat them. All right. And that'll be good. Just get them completely coated. I missed a few bits there, so I'm just going to lightly cover it with some of that flour, seasoned flour that I've done. Now into the remainder, we're now going to add 1 egg, and now we're going to add some carbonated water. So it's got to be fizzy water that we're going to be using for this. This makes the batter light and aerated. So we just pour a little bit at a time, and then we're just going to mix this through. This batter needs to be runny. So we're just going to mix that through, and then we're going to add more water until it comes to a runny consistency. You will see exactly how runny it needs to be in a sec. So I'm going ahead now and adding a little bit more water in it, and we're just gonna completely mix that through. You will see that it's gonna be quite a runny batter. There you go. So that is how runny it literally needs to be. It's a very light batter. So you can see remnants of the mushrooms that I got in there. That is just simply mushroom, guys. That's nothing else. Okay, so now it's time to get these battered up. Okay, so into a hot oil pan, we're just gonna add these oyster mushrooms when I get around to it. Add these oyster mushrooms into the batter that I created earlier, and that needs to go into hot oil. So just let the rest drain off, and that needs to go straight into the hot oil. Okay, so that's gone straight into the hot oil. And what we'll do, we'll just continue battering the rest of these and get them straight into that hot oil. And that's looking pretty good, as you can see. So we're going to fry these off until they're golden brown. And then what I'm going to do is transfer them straight onto a baking tray and put them in the oven on a rack in the baking tray, so they can cook through a bit more and that you can drip away some of the oil. So that's going straight into a baking tray. And this is what they look like being fried up, and they're going straight onto that baking tray. And then once they're completed from the baking tray, once they're on the baking tray, they're going into the oven, and they're gonna cook for about 15 minutes until they completely cook through, and that will allow some of the oil to drip through the actual wire rack that I have in a baking tray. So I'm just sprinkling a little bit more batter on the top just to create some bubbles and give it that authentic batter look. And there you have it, folks. Those golden, crispy, succulent mushrooms in that tempura batter. Guys, you don't want to miss this. I'm telling you, this right here, you don't need any chicken. I know, yeah, you can't forget this. That sauce, that sweet chili sauce with some extra hot chili sauce.